You're watching Canadian Muslim news on Muslim Network TV. From Toronto, Ontario, I'm Catherine Bullock. Assalamu alaikum and greetings of peace. Today we'll be talking to Imran Hasan, who is the chair of the Peel chapter of Crime Stoppers. But first, some news headlines. Canadian soldiers not granted judicial protection against vaccine mandate. 44% increase in hate crimes, say Calgary police. 26 infected over Blastomycosis outbreak in Constance Lake First Nation. An alleged mastermind of Bulli app arrested by Indian police. Now the details. Federal Court Justice Janice Fura announced that unvaccinated Canadian Forces members will not gain judicial protection against disciplinary actions. The decision comes as 4 Canadian Forces members went to court to obtain an injunction against vaccine enforcements. Fura says the unvaccinated members did not meet the legal standard required under an injunction, which include presenting a serious issue, looking at other paths for resolution, or proving that they would face irreparable harm. A directive issued in October by Chief of Defence Staff General Wayne Eyre ordered that all Canadian soldiers be vaccinated by December 18th. Calgary's police announced that hate-motivated crimes increased by 44% in 2021. The incidents include physical and verbal assault, as well as property damage. Sergeant Gareth Joles from the Calgary Police Service's Hate and Extremism team says that the number was lower in 2020, possibly because people were urged to stay home during the pandemic. Data from 2021 shows that there is a gradual increase in hate crimes consistent with the growth seen before the pandemic. The numbers do not include unreported or milder incidents of hate-motivated attacks. Recently, Calgary has seen a wave of hate crimes against Sikhs and Muslims. The chief of Constance Lake First Nation, Ramona Sutherland, announced a total of 26 confirmed cases and 2 deaths related to a blastomycosis outbreak in the small community of 900. Blastomycosis is a rare lung infection typically caused by a fungus found in soil and rotting wood. As of now, no source has been identified. Sutherland is calling on the government to continue removing wood piles from the community. She also urged the community to work with investigators to locate the source. The region has been in a state of emergency since November, when multiple people reported infections. Niraj Bishnoi was held by the Delhi police as the alleged mastermind and creator of the Bulli app, which auctioned more than 100 prominent Muslim women for sale. Bishnoi is the 4th individual arrested in connection to the case. The Delhi police said that the investigation has not revealed whether Bulli is related to Sully Deals, another app and website that was a fake auction of prominent Muslim women. Women targeted by the app remain skeptical of the investigation, primarily since no arrests have been made since 6 months after the Sully Deals incident. And that's it for the news. Crime Stoppers is an anonymous tip line run by volunteers. We have with us today the first Muslim chair of the Peel chapter of Crime Stoppers, Imran Hasan. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the show.
Walaikum assalam, and thank you for having me, Sister Kathy.
It's our pleasure. Now, I have to confess, when I hear the word Crime Stoppers, I always thought it was those cameras that travel live with the police team and they go on this sensationalist filming, arresting people, and it always looked very, unsavory to me. So I wasn't sure what Crime Stoppers was. Maybe someone watching doesn't know either. So start us by telling what is Crime Stoppers.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to provide some clarity. The analogy you described couldn't be further from the truth. This is a community-based organization. We're a non-profit charity that supports the police by providing anonymous tips that are submitted by concerned citizens in the community. And we do so through a tip line, and it's a toll-free number, 1-800-222-TIPS, that's 8477. And it's a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week service that's provided to allow concerned citizens to submit any suspicious or illegal activities that are happening in their community. And then we would take that information and disseminate that through different law enforcement agencies, not only within Peel, but Ontario and across Canada.
So what I hear you saying then, I heard you use the words anonymous tip line. I heard you say non-for-profit groups, separate, run by volunteers.
Yes.
So what is that relationship then between what you're doing and the actual police service?
That's an excellent question. The police service does what they do, and that is investigate criminal activity and enforce the law. What Crime Stoppers does is provides a confidential and anonymous service for the public who are reluctant to contact the police directly, to be able to submit their information, their tips privately and confidentially through this service. We take that information, remove any personal information of the tipster, and then we take that information and forward it along to the appropriate law enforcement agencies, who will then use that information to be able to either A, prevent the crime from happening, or B, for using the information to help solve a crime.
Muslims have experienced some rather traumatic encounters with police over the last few years, with some unfortunate events. Ejaz Chowdhury shot by police who attended after a mental health crisis, Soleiman Fakiri. How can you kind of reassure the Muslim community, especially in the wake of Black Lives Matter, that calling the police, I don't know how to say this properly, but that it's the right thing to do?
Well, it's always the right thing to do to report suspicious or criminal activities in your community. That's how we build safer and stronger neighborhoods and an overall society. For those who are concerned or reluctant to call the police directly, this anonymous tip line is an alternative for them to be able to provide information safely, securely, privately, confidentially, without having to give their personal information. And I know that certain ethnic communities, depending on where they came from around the world, have had a different experience dealing with their law enforcement agencies in those countries. But when they come here, they're reluctant to contact police. So this will give them the first step to be able to help in crime prevention and solving crimes in their community by dealing with a third party who then deals directly with the police.
And what if somebody's not sure if it's a crime or not, or should I call or not?
There's no harm in picking up the phone and making a call and submitting information. If it is truly information that will lead to either an arrest or prevent a crime, that information is useful. If it's not, it's certainly good information to have.
Does the caller ever find out what happened to their tip?
We actually do not publish information about the tipster. The tipster could certainly keep an eye in the media as to what's happening. This relationship that exists is successful because of our relationship with media and the police. So once that information is submitted to Crime Stoppers and then it's acted upon by the local police service, then it's reported on by the local media.
You mentioned that it's a volunteer organization, so therefore that means you have a day job, I guess. Why did you get involved?
Well, it's a long story, but you asked me to keep my answers short, so I'll try my best, Kathy. My father came to Canada in 1973 because he wanted to create a better opportunity for his family and for his next generation. But the one value he always instilled in me was, to give back to the community. He started a business in 1983, which eventually I had taken over, and that's the business that I'm in today. We're in the telecom sector. We believe in connecting people through technology, and that's what I've been doing for over 25 years. And alongside, the business, there's always an opportunity, Sister Kathy, to give back.
Most Muslims don't get involved in police stuff, I think. I think it's an unusual volunteer activity. So what kind of propelled you?
I look around. I have a family. My parents live close to me. My kids go to school in the neighborhood. They were born and raised here, and I felt a sense of responsibility to help ensure that our community stays safe. And so volunteering my time in helping organize a fundraiser for Crime Stoppers is how my journey began, and that was just over 2 years ago. And it was a hockey tournament that I helped organize, and we raised $17,000 for Crime Stoppers. And Crime Stoppers immediately took interest in my, fundraising capabilities and my networking, and continued to, pursue me to join the board, which initially I was reluctant to do, just because I had other responsibilities and commitments. I also serve on the board of directors for a local food bank.
Right, and now you're chair. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Am I wrong in that? Are you like the lone Muslim?
On the board, yes.
And then Crime Stoppers, I understand it's you're chair of the Peel chapter. That means there are chapters elsewhere in Canada and maybe even across the world. Am I right?
So in Ontario, there are 36 chapters. Across Canada, there's 86 chapters. And around the world, there's over 1,200 chapters.
And what's the other connections between each other?
So we are Crime Stoppers as a global organization. That 800 number, when you call it, is a local call center here in Ontario, but that same number can be used to contact Crime Stoppers chapters around the world. So we will share information between Crime Stopper chapters and between the different law enforcement agencies locally, nationally, and globally.
But is there a international body where, for example, each chapter will send a representative, or are you working more independently?
So there are associations. We have the Ontario Association of Crime Stoppers, as well as the Canadian Association for Crime Stoppers, and we are all members of those associations.
And what do they do distinct from what you're doing at the Peel chapter?
They're really more, you could say, government relations bodies, those that advocate on behalf of the different chapters to the different levels of government. I'll make it clear, we don't get funding at the local level here from the government in any form. So we don't have any sustainable funding models. That's why we do fundraising events such as the hockey tournament, which I helped organize, as well as other initiatives that we undertook even during COVID-19, because we need funds to be able to continue running the anonymous tip line and to be able to provide services in the community in the form of seminars and conferences and community outreach.
Are the people who receive the tip trained in trauma awareness or suicide prevention, or how to be nice to like customer care calling?
Well, I can't speak to the specific level of training, but they are not volunteers. They are paid staff. They are trained professionals, and they're trained to take phone calls similar to a 911 call. Taker. It would be a similar type of personality. I don't know the details of the type of people that we have in our call center. It's never a question that's come up, but I'd certainly be interested in looking into that and reporting back to you.
Now, just very quickly, we've got about 10 seconds left. If someone else wants to volunteer, how would they?
That's an excellent question. Please visit peelcrimestoppers.ca. There is a very clear button that says you can either donate or volunteer. So if you wish to help build safer and stronger communities, please join us. It's your Crime Stoppers. We often tell people, don't join Crime Stoppers, be a Crime Stopper.
Well, that's a great way to end. Don't join Crime Stoppers, be a Crime Stopper. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you for having me, and Assalamu alaikum.
You've been watching Canadian Muslim News on Muslim Network TV from Toronto, Ontario. Stay tuned for our next episode. If you like what we do, subscribe and share. Stay safe and God bless.